dear industry professionals, very welcome back here to the program of Corrugated e-exhibition. I'm glad that we have here Mr. Milan and also Mr. Deenu Shetty. They are joining us now here from India, from the biggest corrugated association in the world called FCBM. Yeah, very welcome to both of you, and thank you so much for your time and that you could arrange it. The connection is also very stable as far as I can see, so I'm very happy about it. And may I just ask you, for the people who don't know you and who don't know FCBM, maybe just to introduce both shortly.
You want me to go ahead? Milan, you take it up or?
Yeah, Deenu.
Yeah, okay. Now, for those of us, the audience who doesn't know FCBM, FCBM is a National Packaging Organ, Corrugated Packaging Association of India.
Yeah, we also have our own, R&D lab set up across the country. The best one or the most advanced one being in Mumbai, wherein we have world-class machineries, testing equipments. These are mainly used to develop, customer specifications or even to test our own, samples across the country. Yes.
This was a very detailed description, and I believe now everyone knows really how big you are and also how influential you are. I mean, look at the Indian market; it's just a massive market with a massive potential. And I know that not only both of you have been attending Corrugated shows several times in the past. Could you maybe just share for the people who are watching this, how was your experience at the show and how is such a visit usually going on?
We have collectively attended, your show for the past 7-8 years, and see, visitors to your exhibition, being visitors to your exhibition, and then we also get to shop. We also get to see the newer developments in the shows that you have. No doubt these are huge shows every year that you put up, and well, it has become a kind of a favorite visiting place for us corrugators. Not just for the sake of visiting an exhibition. It has added to the camaraderie and the fellowship that the bondings that we have developed across over a period of time visiting your shows. Deenu?
Yes, I would say our experience every year, we see that the show grows in size and scale, as well as our visitors. I think you will also vouch that visitors from India are also going up year on year. And the speciality is what happens in Drupa, etc. Although we enjoy watching it, the machinery what we buy is more or less what we get in finalized in Leeds, somewhere in this region, because of scales of economy, etc. So that meets our requirements. One thing only what we face, generally what language is a bit of a barrier for us. Although year on year we are seeing that a lot of translators are available. Initial years when we used to visit, it was a tough time, trying to talk and get the knowledge about the machine, etc. And videos used to be a great help, how the machines operate. Now, as I see, lot more of the booths, at every stalls you have got at least the major sheds you have got translators, and then it becomes much easier. That is a very welcome thing, what we find.
And mentioning the last year's show, the India Day celebrations or India Day parade was, I think, something we all liked and appreciated.
Yeah, we hope we can plan more like this in the future. And soonest, of course, we target the 2021 show. I believe we can make it. And I believe also you can imagine that now, after people have kind of, you can say, skipped one show because of the overall situation, I think we are very positive looking into 2021 because there is a time the demand returns and the transition back to business is in the final stage, and when the time is right and ready, the people will also flock again to those shows, and that is why I personally think that 2021 July will be maybe so far from square meter size, hopefully the biggest, and maybe also again from visitor size, because in our industry it's not like the beauty industry where you can sell those products easily online. It's basically, we talk about millions of dollars here when you buy a corrugator up to 300, 400 meters. So those products, you just need the face-to-face conversation, and not only for negotiation, but also it just creates trust, you know. And I totally agree that those digital solutions like we do now is a big step, a big improvement, and also maybe improves several meetings in the future. It doesn't matter where the people are located, but for our industry, it's just so necessary, especially when we talk about those amounts. And that is why we are looking very optimistic.
In an offline requirement, when we meet offline, so one advantage was, you know, these exhibitors generally arrange a visit to show how their machine is running. When you talked about a corrugator or a printer slotter, they take to a nearby unit, maybe a couple of hours drive away, and they arrange on one of these days to take us around and just show us the machine, how it is working, and you know what are the features, how is the operation. That is a real eye opener for us. That, you know, that is an experience we can't get online. You know, when you go offline, visit a factory, see how the machine is operating or something like that. And sometimes we come a couple of days before the exhibition or after the exhibition, go and visit the factory of the manufacturer, see how his production setup is, what is his, you know, background, how he has been making the machines. That also, you know, gives us a very good insight.
Yes, it's definitely so important in our industry. You need to see basically the machine running, because you can send nice pictures, you can send nice videos, but we all know this. It's so necessary. And we are looking forward, of course, to help you in this also before and after the show in the future. I just wanted to say a little bit, you already mentioned how actually Sino Corrugated helped the members of FCBM. You mentioned that, of course, they can find the right machinery there, they can visit the factories, see it with their own eyes. What is the feedback basically you received from your members of the past visits? In terms of machinery, in terms of new technology, in terms of getting on site to the factories. Yeah, can you just maybe give us some insights?
In India, basically is made up of, when we say we have got 3,000 members, you will also get a sense of shock, you know, that there are so many manufacturers. But basically we are, you know, a large number of small semi-automatic, you know, units, which are basically constituting our members. So out of the 3,000, you may have about 300 really large automatic units, and the rest of them are, you know, small semi-automatic units. So the potential is quite large. See, you have got a large number who are below, and only a small number which are at the top. So everybody wants to upscale. So everybody wants to reach of a, you know, automatic machine scale. So that upscaling potential is very large, and large number of these people who are visiting our members, what they are doing is, you know, they are discarding their, you know, semi-automatic machines, coming up with new printer slotters, coming up with new die cutters, and so on and so forth, upgrading their setup. Maybe after 4 or 5 visits, then they go for a completely new corrugator and completely new setup. So a large number of members who are going on for, you know, automation within their existing setup. So this is a large thing what we have noticed, that members are very keen to get upgraded, because our industry within India also is growing at a rapid pace. Over the past, you know, 5 to 8 years, India also has been growing, exporting more. Manufacturing in India also has picked up pace. So our existing machinery cannot keep up with the pace. So every manufacturer has feeling an urge to upgrade himself, get faster productivity. And although we are a country with a large population, getting skilled manpower is still a challenge.
I think what Sebastian was referring to is he's saying, you know, our visit to Sino, or what Sino has to offer per se. In this context only, his question was. Now, at Sino, what we get is everything under one roof, everything corrugated under one roof. That is something that helps us. A. B, we get to interact with, you know, machine manufacturers directly. We sit across, you know, in the same stall, explaining to us. We get to see live machineries, and also we have these people taking us to, you know, see a running machine at one of the corrugators factory. So this is where, yes, we get benefited, you know, greatly when we get to, you know, Sino. And as Deenu said, out of the 3,000 members that we have, 90% of them are, small ones trying to upgrade themselves, trying to grow up. So where else can one see unless they go to a place like Shanghai or maybe World Corrugated India, All Corrugated, which is I think Supercore, or maybe Drupa, or maybe these are not corrugation specific, but big exhibitions. That is where they get to see all these machineries live.
Thank you very much. Also very interesting for us to get this feedback from you, very valuable. And yeah, COVID-19 has affected India also largely. We can see it now that one person of you actually is calling from the office already, and one person is calling from the home. So it also affected the regions in a different way. So you both are the best example. Can you just maybe share your personal experience how living with the pandemic was during the last months, and also what effect it had on your box business? I mean, of course, the effect was not positive, but what is interesting maybe to learn about is how could you slowly get back on track? And this would be interesting for us. Maybe Milan, we start with you.
Yeah. Well, Sebastian, on a personal front, it's been very scary, and it still is. Despite being, confined to the house, the fear of infection for self and more so for, elderly parents, children, it was always there. Apart from the frustration of being, confined to the house. During the lockdown, supply of, essential commodities like food, pharmaceuticals, and other essential services, they were on. And for those of us who were part of the supply chain for essential goods, we had to keep, we had to start our operations, we had to keep the supply chain going during the lockdown period. And this I'm saying from, say, early April onwards. These were real, challenging times for us. The larger part of our members had to keep their units closed. The loss of business in the past 2.5 months or 3 months now, it's very difficult to recoup. But those of us who opened our units, like we started off in a very, very small way with, handful of people. They were in a way quarantined within the factory, getting them the food stuff and everything to the factory itself so that they could, cook their own stuff and not leave the factories. The scary part is now, wherein things have opened up. Some public transports are already on. Keeping this, self-distancing and all that becomes a challenge even now because we do outsource a lot of things. People are coming in now from outside. This apart from the ones who were confined to my premises for a long time. Well, challenges are there. It's still on, as I said. Deenu, you want to add to that?
I think you covered mostly everything. It's been a difficult period for all our members, and the smaller the scale, the more the problem for them, because managing all your resources, getting everything done, and then in a manufacturing process and having social distancing, which you have visited India and seen, India is too crowded a country for social distancing, so it is very difficult to achieve that. So we are trying and struggling and trying to come out of it. Some of our major industrial centers like Maharashtra, Delhi, Mumbai, etc., are badly impacted. I think rural areas are still better off. And then due to the lockdown, there was a large-scale migration of workers because they came to know the factories are closed for 2 months. They didn't want to linger around, stay around here. They have all migrated back to their villages. I think all that has come on TVs and global news also. And now slowly we are hopeful that they will be returning back and we can start these operations. Although with lot of precautions and lot of restrictions, we are somehow trying to cope up with it and come out of it slowly.
Then also what happened is during this lockdown, procuring raw materials was a big challenge, and disposing of waste was also a big challenge. But we somehow, I think we lived through that now.
And you had one of the longest total lockdowns actually in the world. Totally more than 75 days, you mentioned to me before. Yes. So it must be really, really hard to get on track. And I learned that that's also what you mentioned, that in India we have many small-sized businesses, box maker businesses operating. Do you think, maybe you cannot give me a number now or percentage, but what is your feeling? I think we won't see all of them again, right? I mean, under production conditions like before, where maybe some small box businesses were operating, I think now, due to the challenges and a total lockdown maybe of their business, some bigger companies, maybe they had the right to keep production going because of their essential business. But I think not every business, not every factory has a chance. So my worry is just maybe that some of those smaller ones, maybe they're running out of the cash maybe to keep the production ongoing. Do you see this trend, or is there some, let's say, chance also for them to get back on track?
I think cash flow maintenance will be a biggest challenge. Whether you're big or small, if you're, when the period of lockdown, your customers were also closed, suppliers were closed. So customers are not started, means they won't start paying you, their offices are not functioning, their accounts are closed. So that unless you are able to manage your cash flow, you can't, start your operations again. So those businesses who are not very good with their cash flow will definitely feel the pinch. They will take a longer time to recover. And some of them who are bad I don't think would be able to recover. Because in some areas of our country, this lockdown still persists. What is more or less open is, essential supplies. That is, whether you are supplying to pharma industry or you are supplying to, this FMCG goods. Those type of industry is allowed. But generally, if you're supplying to textiles or some other components, engineering goods and all, they have not still yet been open to open. So that challenge remains, Once the lockdown is completely lifted, then we'll have to look at the battlefield and say, how many have survived. It's almost like that.
Are there any relief packages maybe which can be announced for the box industry, or are there any benefits in terms of getting a loan from a bank for those businesses who need to really work hard now to survive? Is there any chance that they get some option, some help from external sides?
Yes, government has announced certain reliefs. Now, most of our industry, our members, or rather corrugated box manufacturers, they come under the micro, small and medium enterprises. This is the size of the units. They come under that scale. They are called MSMEs in India. And for them, with regard to bank finance, there have been some relaxation given. That means your monthly repayment installments, there has been a moratorium which has been deferred for 6 months, and after that you start paying back your loans. And there has been an enhancement of the credit limit also. But all said and done, all that you can avail once your business is resuming. Once your business is starting operations, then you can try to gather resources. If you are not able to start, that also is a challenge. So I would say there is some relief, but not entirely. As well as you have to take care of all your, in some countries, the government has been upfront to, take care of your wage burden. Factories under lockdown, you have to keep paying your staff. That also is a burden for these manufacturers. So in some countries, at least in European countries, I think government, the local governments have paid up to 80% of the wage bills. Whereas, our government could not manage on that front, but they have tried to give some relief by means of enhanced loans, as well as deferred loans, etc.
Yeah, Deenu, this question maybe goes to you. When do you expect normal operation again happening in India for the box makers? Is there any, let's say, time frame you have in mind?
Presently, it seems very unlikely. But as I said, we are a large country. So there are certain areas which have been, like Milan, what Milan spoke, that, they have been operating from April onwards. They are on the east of the country. But towards the south, the west and the north, it is pretty much affected, and we have not been able to resume operations fully. Unfortunately, what we hear globally is a pandemic. It rises and then it peaks and then levels and then starts falling. But in our case, it has just been peaking. We are not seeing a leveling off. So once it starts leveling off, then you can assume that within a span of 30 to 40 days, we should be back to normal. But I think it will take another 3 to 4 months from what we see today.
Sebastian, see, what will happen now is it is not because of what should I say, because of the constraints of working. It is basically the segments the corrugators are catering to. If they are catering to, say, packaged foods, if they are catering to e-commerce, to pharmaceuticals, these are the segments which are bound to do well or will continue doing well. But maybe for white goods or maybe for garments, or I'm sorry, I am mentioned, I am not very sure how these will perform. These industries are going to perform in the near future. So those corrugators catering to these companies or these segments may face some problems, or maybe their it will be delayed. Their how fast they can recover.
And under those conditions, and also for the time during the transition later, what do you think? What kind of machinery is needed for the market to smoothly return back to normal? And also, maybe you can give a short feedback, maybe from your own experience. What role will play maybe the machinery, the corrugated machinery and equipment here from Asia, from China?
See, things are bound to change post this pandemic. See, priorities will also change. Consolidation will become, will take precedence over expansion. And all investments will be guarded. They would like to set their house in order first before going in for, more investments, expansions. Now, having said that, Indian corrugators look to Chinese equipments which are, efficient and cost effective, affordable. I see no change in that outlook as of now. But post-board machineries like, high-end printers, case makers, should be in demand as it was earlier. But one point also needs to be taken into account is the political scenario, how far it evolves over a period of time. That also needs to be seen if you're talking about the near future or a midterm future.
Deenu, what's your take on this?
I would also agree with him that immediate expansion plans would be on hold, but we are seeing a huge demand sector-wise, as you said, in pharmaceuticals as well as FMCGs. Which are multi-locational or spread across the country. Some areas they have not been able to procure boxes because the units are closed. So they are trying to focus their procurement from some alternate areas. So there is additional pressure on those manufacturers. So there will be some need for upgradation and upscale, but not large-scale investment. I don't see in the next 6 months.
And I learned that in India you have a counterpart to Amazon. It's called Flipkart. What role is the e-commerce playing in the long term in India? Because I'm asking, is the infrastructure, it takes time to develop properly? Because I think e-commerce makes only sense when also the customer can get the product in a, let's say, acceptable time, right? Otherwise, people from maybe, let's say, regional areas, they will still not order on those platforms. So I learned that the pace the e-commerce development is going in India is very strong and very fast. So what does it mean for the box makers, not only in terms of demand? I mean, the demand will increase, but I think also the requirements for quality will increase. And I think this is a challenge, right? Is it correct?
See, those who are catering to this industry are well equipped even now. A. B, when you are talking about this particular segment growing, corrugators and the ones who are not catering to this industry will certainly jump in and will try to kind of get into this segment. And whether it is Amazon or Flipkart or Snapdeal or whatever you name, these companies will also want to buy from people who are close by their stores or close by their hubs.
Logistic facility, yeah.
Yes, so they'll be looking at low-hanging fruits. So this area, yes, those who are not equipped to cater to this industry will try to upgrade. Yes, there will be demand for die cutting boxes and die-cut boxes and printer slotters and high-end stuff like that. Yes, there will be a demand for that.
And Milan, do you see personally for your business here another opportunity maybe to get in, to extend your business in the long term with the focus on the e-commerce? Or do you say, for now, that is not my plan, but I will look at it?
No, I would love to get into this particular segment, because this is one segment which is bound to grow and grow exponentially. Even this pandemic will have some effect on e-commerce. You know, you wouldn't want to go to a shop to buy things. You would rather order online. This is bound to grow, and personally, I would definitely like to get into this segment, which I don't at the moment.
Mm-hmm. And Deenu, are you supplying to some, let's say, customers who are selling online?
Yes, quite a lot. Now with what happened, now with this pandemic, actually has been a boon for the e-commerce sector. Normally, person would buy some stuff from online and some stuff visiting the store. Now with this fear of social distancing, there are maximum number of people who are shifted to those who are not online, used to the online. They have also shifted to online procurement. So that has become a very big boon, this pandemic, social distancing and closure of retail markets. So this has become a very big boom for them. So especially in our area, Western India, Mumbai side, all the salons were closed, barber shops and salons were closed for 3 months. So this your Philips razors and the trimmers, they were sold out within no time, even on the e-commerce sites. So much demand for these products. Such type of products, they will be continue to be demand. So e-commerce this pandemic has shifted people's buying behavior and shifted many of them into the e-commerce platform. So it has been a boom for this industry, unfortunately.
And I mentioned
wherever they have e-commerce, they require packaging.
Exactly.
So we are having some customers who are already into, their orders have increased. They were doing it in a small way. Now they have increased their reach and volumes.
Yeah. Every product, what you sell online, it needs to somehow packed to get delivered to the customer.
One point I would like to add that to your initial point of infrastructure and reach, like Amazon and Flipkart, they have been tying up with the Indian Postal Service so that they reach to the last end user sitting at one remote village, at one corner of India. So he wants to pick up a mobile or just a mobile cover or just a small headset, Bluetooth headset. He can just order it on Amazon or Flipkart and it reaches him through post. So they have done such novel tie-ups with the existing infrastructure of Indian Postal Service. So they tied up with them to increase their reach.
And a personal question, maybe out of the main topic. When you order something online, Deenu, how long it takes usually on, let's say you order on Flipkart or another big platform, how long it takes until you get it?
I think not more than 3 days. I don't see anything more than 3 days. Within 1 to 3 days, you get everything almost.
How about Milan? In your region, is the same?
Same everywhere. It's the same. If you're ordering fruits and vegetables, stuff like that, it's 24 hours.
Okay, that is very good. And I think this is also important to mention because maybe some people, they still have the picture that the infrastructure there is so bad that it takes so long. But actually, this already means that it's really improving. And I think 1 2 days is totally acceptable. Maybe if you have a bigger product, 3 days, I think it's totally fine. And I think this will just maybe improve in the future.
Yeah, what the e-commerce operators have done, they have been very smart to do a lot of tie-ups locally. So if there is something which is needed in Mumbai, they will not procure it from somewhere far away unless it's absolutely necessary. So like fruits and vegetables, they procure it locally and manage to deliver locally. So that is one plus.
Very interesting, and I didn't expect that it's already actually that fast. Very important, this feedback, I think, also for our viewers. And we talk about e-commerce. We also need to talk about digital printing. When will it take off in India? I mean, really take off? And are local box makers already willing to make those huge investments into the machine of digital printing?
I don't know. My connection is it. I personally feel digital printing as a mass process in the corrugated box industry in India is still some years away. As and when the market matures, people will look at it. But as a mass, produce it, I don't think the market is ready yet.
Mm-hmm. Deenu, what's your take on this?
Digital printing is being done to a small scale. I think you missed in the last conference you had come, Mr. Harish Mehta. You had met him of Jaina.
Yeah.
He does some novel products. He makes a chair as well as novel products he makes out of corrugated board. So he uses digital printing a lot. People like him use it, but they are very niche. They are not used in your everyday factories. Somebody is catering to retail, or somebody is setting up, some smart displays for something like Cadbury's or something like LG. Some smart displays. You walk into a shop, you see something made out of corrugated board, but just printed and small number of pieces. So that type of facility is there. That type of facility is there, but as Milan rightly put it will not be adopted in a large scale by the industry as of now. I think the economics of scale, etc., has to come down. Right now, the investment certificate is quite large. So once that comes down, India is a very price sensitive and price conscious market. So whatever you pick up, you always say, what is the yield out of it? What is the price and what is the yield out of it? So unless that comes down to a really usable level, till then it will be a challenge in India.
Yeah, Deenu and Milan, considering maybe your own, let's say, business, what kind of machinery or equipment you are, let's say, thinking about to invest in the long term? Is there any preference your focus is set on?
If you talk about me, I will be looking at, right now I am having a 2-color printer slotter. I may in the coming years look at, upgrading the number of units, maybe a 3 or a 4 color, and then maybe adding to the die cutters, because I am having lot of, die cut jobs.
Yes.
So maybe I will add to that facility if the volumes go up, what I am anticipating.
Yes.
So these are the 2 basic equipments I will be trying to increase.
Yeah, dear both, I'm very happy that you joined us here today. And thank you so much for your time. Before we come to the end, I just want to ask you both, are there any other thoughts or remarks you wish to add to our little interview here? Deenu.
I would like to say that, although this digital interaction also works very well, and we are able to put our thoughts into words, but meeting face to face has a different experience altogether. When we travel to shows and meet each other face to face, that is one experience we will miss this year, and hopefully we will come back to the same next year. We will be able to visit the Shanghai show in large numbers, and hopefully good business and good interaction and good cooperation continues between FCBM and Leeds. Milan, you would like to sum it up again?
Yeah, and I would also like to thank Sebastian and Reeds. Our association goes back many, and we hope to kind of build on it. I think this is one of the first steps, or one of the steps that you've taken. Thank you for having us on board also.
Very warm welcome message. Thank you so much, and we hope to see as many as possible FCBM members joining us during all the 3 show days digitally, and next year, of course, offline at Shanghai again. We are looking forward to receive you there from 14th to 17th of July 2021. This will be the next Shanghai show.
One point, Sebastian, how will it be from 14 to 17, given the time difference? How will the show be there online?
You mean the show this month, right, in Dongguan?
Yeah.
Yes. For this month, actually, time difference, we can say 24 hours online program. So the matchmaking will be 24 hours. We have first on-site, and then we have in the hotel room a special meeting area where we continue. And for the live stream, which is more about giving some insights from the fairground, this will take place from 9 to 5 p.m. Chinese time, but it will also run as a live stream. So for the people who are, let's say, from South America, they can just watch the recording on Facebook or YouTube. They just click it and then they can watch the recording. For them, then it's not a real life, but it's also not a problem because you can anyway watch it. Yeah. This is how we plan it, and we hope as many as possible people will join. Live streaming will take place on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn across all channels, Sign-Out Core and Sign-Out Folding. So we have a huge audience targeting. And for the matchmaking, we already have the call centers. You remember they also reached out to you, and they actually specify their product requirement. And then we have the separate matchmaking 24 hours during all 3 show days. But not only that, this is a whole year program, because we know that the businesses will not return to normal so quickly. So we do this also after the show. Yeah. So even for the people who have no time to join during the show, they can also join after the show, and we can invite them to the sessions. Yeah, thank you so much, both. It was a very interesting exchange. Also from Reed here, Reed Exhibitions, and the show team of Corrugated, I want to express my best greetings and also thanks. And really everyone is looking forward to have the FCBM members and also all other industry professionals from India back at the exhibition at the fairground here in Shanghai, then from 14th to 17th of July 2021.
Thank you, Sebastian.
Thank you.
And we also look forward to seeing you there in 2021.
Yes,
and also for our conference 2021 December, our FCBM annual conference next year.
Yes, I was actually already planning to come this year, December. I think you scheduled for December, so I was already happy, but actually it will not take place, right?
Right.
Oh, no. You have postponed it.
We have postponed it to next year, 2021.
So you will keep the location?
Same location, Calcutta, Kolkata.
Hope I can make it, because it would be my first visit to Calcutta. I've never been there.
Oh, I'm sure you will enjoy it.
It's good. That will be good. That will be a good first one. Different
Yes.
part of India. Different part of India.
Great. Always glad to be back. And yeah, thank you so much for your time. You can go back to business now. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Have a good day.